Broadcasting live from unclaimed territory on the plain of Ixalan. Welcome to Tap Tap Concede. Graham here.
Kathleen here.
And Cameron here.
And if you are listening to Tap Tap Concede, welcome back. We're on a couple weeks hiatus there while we moved moon bases, and you should notice either no difference or potentially a slight improvement in audio fidelity. If you are watching, welcome to the new podcast set. Yes, indeed, we have a new podcasting studio just for casting the pods.
With all sorts of sound baffling foam everywhere.
Yeah, most of which you can't see on camera, and it's not quite complete yet. This is a very nice table, but we will eventually. The intent is to get a sort of a custom desk that will fit 4 people with like a slight angle on the back, so that we're sort of like kind of turned inwards. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
That's for later, Graham.
For now, it's a table, and James was saying we should get Tap Tap Concede coffee mugs because right now we're just using other people's mugs. But today on Tap Tap Concede, we're going to be talking about some of the recent Ixalan spoilers, some official, some unofficial, I think, and just excited to get back talking about Magic. But first, we're going to crack a pack. One of the other things that is still in a box somewhere, probably labeled various knickknacks, is our large foam dice. But we have another D20, so Kathleen, if you want to give that D20 a roll. Oh yeah, right. Sorry. Before we get to that, actually, Kathleen.
I'll just keep jiggling the dice in anticipation.
Sounds great. A reminder that Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by CardKingdom.com. If you check out CardKingdom.com/LRR, that puts our little affiliate code there and tells them that we sent them to you, and we send you to them, and we send you to them. It's a great sentence because we think they're great.
We're not rusty doing this podcasting thing at all.
we use them ourselves. I just put a big sell order on there this week. We sell singles there. They will ship singles anywhere in the world. They'll ship sealed product anywhere in the U.S. And if you tell them Loading Ready Run sent me, button please, they'll give you a little 1-inch button which currently says we can splash for that. Yeah. I don't know. Huh?
Famously from the Worldwake draft.
Yeah, exactly. When we were in Red Black and opened Jace the Mind Sculptor, and then
Grixis now, boys.
Chat was like, "You're splashing for Jace," and then we did, and then we won that game, and we should not have won that game.
Nice.
It was miserable.
Yeah. So yeah, Card Kingdom, nice, because like what Graham and I are doing is literally going through like a couple years worth of drafts and pulling out stuff that they might want to buy, even if it's like 10 or 15 cents. And if we flip it into more product, we get like a 30% bonus on our money.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could just give us money.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to being there next weekend.
Oh yeah,
That's right, yeah.
It's PAX weekend.
PAX weekend,
And
yeah. Tap
Tap Concede is also brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Please check that out as well, because it is by your generosity alone that this moon base and this room was able to happen, so thank you so much.
Really, really appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah,
Roll it.
It's nice.
You guys are wonderful people. Two.
Oh, we dodged a bullet there. Hey!
Hey!
Nice. It's a Modern Masters 2015 pack. This is
Wow.
from IMAT, our buddy Christian, who gave us a whole bunch of Modern Masters packs when he was in town a month or two ago. So Modern Masters 2015 with the cool cardboard box.
Yeah.
Which I really hope they come back to.
Yeah,
at some point.
I think they can solve the problems they had with it.
I think so too. The card reading camera isn't quite hooked up yet, so I'll be doing this old school style, which is to say, Paul.
Yep.
will be doing it.
2015?
Yeah, Modern Masters 2015. So the first up is Waxmane Baku. It's 2 and a white for a 2/2 creature spirit. Whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, you may put a key counter on Waxmane Baku. And for 1 and remove X key counters from Waxmane Baku, tap X target creatures. This, I recall, in the right deck, in Modern Masters Draft.
It was good.
This was supremely irritating.
Yep.
Because if you got enough counters on it, you could have a turn where, you were like, all right, I pay 1 and take 3 counters off it and tap your 3 creatures on your attack step.
Yeah.
And then on my turn, I get to just kill you, hit you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I saw.
And it's not a tap ability.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw.
and
Oh, go ahead, Cameron.
no, it just Like, you would expect this to be, one, remove a key counter, tap a creature.
Yeah, but no.
No,
It's
no,
way
no,
better
no.
than that.
Yeah.
No, it's from the olden days of Magic. No, what I saw a lot was like, all right, I resolve my big threat. Okay, I wax main Baku it for like the next 4 turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
like
can just pay one and take one off. It's great.
I also like that it's just a ball of candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved the spirit art.
Narcolepsy.
Oh, yeah.
1 and a blue for creature enchantment aura. At the beginning of each upkeep, if enchanted creature is untapped, tap it. Now, I'm here to tell you from when I was playing in the GP that if you are playing with narcolepsy at a professional level, you need to be careful because you control the narcolepsy, right? This is your permanent.
Yeah, your
So that's your trigger. So when it's their and it's each upkeep also, but generally you don't need to worry about your upkeeps. But the point is, on your opponent's upkeep, they untap, and then you have to go but tap that creature. And if you don't,
then it's not tapped because you missed
Yeah.
your trigger.
well, I'm not entirely sure how the enforcement actually works on whether it does end up getting tapped or not. But you have made an error.
Yeah.
And if you make enough errors, then you get a game loss. So no, that didn't happen to me.
But it's just something you had to be aware of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just irritating.
Yeah, that's a worrying thing to have happening on the other side of the table from you.
Aside from the having to remember for the trigger, how better or worse is this than just locking a thing down?
Yeah, than say like claustrophobia.
Well, I mean, claustrophobia is like 2 and a blue, right?
Like, I guess
Yeah.
they can tap it in response, right? So they do have a small window that they could theoretically use a ability of the
Yeah,
creature.
if the creature is like a pinger or something, then they can untap it and then tap it again in response to narcolepsy. So it's not as good for creatures with relevant tap abilities, and it's not as good as similar enchantments like claustrophobia that do inherently tap the creature first and then just keep it tapped. But it's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. Because
It is, yeah.
claustrophobia is 2 and a blue, right?
I think
Or
it's
is it-
one
It's
blue.
one blue. So
Oh,
it's-
that's right.
Yeah.
So, right casting cost, wrong spread. But what I like about narcolepsy is it's perfectly in flavor because the creature wakes up and then falls back asleep again a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah, see, that's nice.
Did I ever tell the story about the one awkward upkeep I had on day 2 of that GP
I mean, maybe you can tell it again.
involving this? So I had I was in a white-blue sort of artifacts deck, and I had narcolepsy, but I was splashing black for a Pillory of the Sleepless, which is 1 white-black, and it's an arrest effect, so the creature can't attack or block, but the creature also gains the ability at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. So I had a narcolepsy on one of their creatures, and I had a pillory on another one of their creatures. The narcolepsy trigger, as we've already discussed, is my trigger. The pillory of the sleepless, I control the pillory, but the pillory gives the creature the ability at the beginning of your upkeep. So that's
Their
trigger. So they go to their upkeep, and then they start to draw, and I'm like, hey, you forgot your trigger. And he's like, oh, shoot. He's like, well, I hadn't drawn yet. So, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Because he didn't say anything about the pillory, and he's the active player, so he's got to talk about his creature's pillory trigger first. So I go to write the life total down, that he's lost 1 life, and he draws his card, and I'm like, and the narcolepsy. And he's like, well, I drew my card. And I'm like, you didn't give me a chance to talk about the narcolepsy because I was writing down the life total change from the pillory.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, yeah, all right. So we get a judge involved, it's just going to be annoying.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. It's like I'm not going to win this argument.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, come on, don't try to angle shoot me on this.
Don't do me like that.
Yeah.
I feel like casting Pillory of the Sleepless on a creature with narcolepsy
is just
it's a flavor fail right there.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like, there's technically an argument, I suppose, that because he's the active player and the pillory thing goes on the stack first, that if I'm writing down the thing for the
That it's
for the
resolved?
pillory than the narcolepsy, I guess, has either been missed or resolved or whatever. But I was like, come on.
Yeah.
So it was fine. And I won that game, so that was nice. Arrest. Speaking of
Yeah.
things that just lock down creatures.
yeah, 2 and a
Total
white.
arrest.
Yeah, 2 and a white enchantment creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated.
This is a good card.
Yeah.
I mean, like aura removal is always a little weaker than just like absolute removal, but you know what? It's also 3 mana, and it basically neutralizes a creature.
There were a lot of good auras in Modern Masters
Yeah.
2015.
Well, wasn't there an aura deck?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
we just talked about 3 of them, like Narcolepsy, Pillory, and Arrest, and there wasn't a lot of removal for enchantments.
No. Well, and plus, like depending on what color you're playing, even if there is removal for enchantments, if you're playing somebody who's playing black and red, they probably don't have anything that they can do anyhow.
Next up, Helium Squirter.
Weird thing.
Weird thing. 4 and a blue for a 0/0 beast
Oh,
mutant.
graft.
And it has Graft 3. And Graft says, this creature enters the battlefield with 3, because it's Graft 3, +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may move a +1/+1 counter from this creature onto that creature. And then for 1 mana, target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains flying until end of turn. This was a dumb, dirtly thing that in the right deck was really annoying
Yeah, because you wanted thrumming birds for this deck.
Yeah.
Right?
to proliferate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could just be like, I play my Helium Squirter, and then on 6 mana, I play my big, dumb ground idiot, put a counter on it, and then make it fly every turn. And then the opponent's sitting there like, I'm being hit so hard.
Yeah, this was an incredibly, like, the whole, like, Simic counters deck was incredibly dirtly, and I never really saw it cook off.
I mean, I saw some pretty...
I didn't play as much Modern Masters as you did.
That's true. At that GP, I didn't see that deck, but I did see people doing irritating things with Helium Squirter, and as you mentioned, Thrumming Bird, because yeah, they got both of those down. Because Thrumming Bird it's just a 1/1 for 1 flyer. Does it have Infect?
No. I think it's a 1/1 for 3 flyer, isn't it?
Yeah. I said 1/1 for 1. It's a 1/1 flyer. It's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it was 1 and a blue.
when it
actually.
deals combat damage to a player, you proliferate. And it's really scary if you have +1/+1 counters on a bunch of creatures. Yeah, it is. 1 and a blue. Nice.
Oh, wow.
So.
I remembered.
Yeah, that guy's just good.
Next up, good old Evolving Wilds. It's a land. Tap and sacrifice it. Search your library for a basic land. Put it onto the battlefield. Tap and then shuffle your library.
There's never a format in which Evolving Wilds is like unplayable. It's always fine.
Yeah,
true.
it's always a good card. Yeah.
It's always a C, to use like the rankings of other podcasts.
Hey, you know how it's a good way to beat Thrumming Bird? Is Plagued Rusalka.
It's a shockingly good card.
This
Yeah.
was, I think we've talked about this before. Last time we did a pack of Modern Masters 2015, how like secretly quite annoying and good Plagued Rusalka was in this
Yes.
format. So it's a 1/1 for a single black. And for a single black and sacrifice a creature, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So you can mess with combat, but more importantly, you can just kill a 1/1 or an X1. And there's a lot of those in this format.
Oh yeah. Also relevant, it's a spirit, so it goes in the spirit stack. So
And you can soul shift it back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right. Soul Shift was...
Soul Shift was an ability that a bunch of the spirits had that, like, you'd have a 4-mana spirit, because it was always 1 less than the CMC of the spirit, but you'd have like a 4-mana spirit with Soul Shift 3, and Soul Shift was, you can go looking in your graveyard for a spirit of CMC 3 or less, and bring it back to your hands. Or you can send something on an otherworldly journey.
well, that was how to get rid of
That's
enchantments.
get rid of auras, yeah. So 1 and a white, instant arcane, which again is relevant for Waxmane Baku, because if you cast a spirit or arcane spell. Exile target creature. At the beginning of the next end step, return that creature to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. So a little extra value if you end up using it to save one of your own creatures from removal. Or in a desperation, you can just get something out of the way, and maybe you don't care if it comes back because maybe your opponent's dead by then.
Yeah, it's like, if I could just get rid of their 1 flying blocker. Oh, perfect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of sacrificing creatures, there was a sacrifice deck as well. Bone Splinters, which is a harrowing concept for a card. Single black mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Bone Splinter, sacrifice a creature, and you destroy a target creature.
I think this card was fine.
Yeah, it was totally fine. This is not a card I saw very often. Matka Rioters.
No.
2 and a green for a star with Domain, which is a reminder ability saying that Matka Rioters' power and toughness are each equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control.
I did not see a lot of people doing the Domain deck.
No. At their worst, they're a 1/1 for 3. At their best, they're a 5/5 for 3.
Yeah.
They were never a 5/5 for 3.
No. No. Though, I did see, I think online, I saw a pretty annoying Domain deck that had Matka Rioters that were like pretty readily a 4/4. And
Yeah.
that was annoying, but that was rare to see.
Yeah.
These are not the payoff you want for the Domain deck.
No.
No.
What was the Overrun card? The Overrun style effect with Domain? That it was like plus X, where X is the
I
number
don't remember offhand.
because it was in the format.
Right.
And it was...
Yeah, that was the payload you wanted.
Because you ran it in a 2-color deck.
Yeah.
You were just like,
+2/+2 and trample.
here you go. I mean,
Yeah.
it cost like 6 or 7 mana.
But in limited,
then you
just
won the
pay
game.
for that effect.
Yeah, exactly.
You just pay for that effect.
and
right.
you know, and if you had that card, you'd be like, I'll splash a 3rd color. Why not? I don't recall exactly what it was called, but it was really irritating.
Speaking of really irritating.
Blinding Soul Eater is next. 3 mana, 1/3 artifact cleric. And for a white Phyrexian mana and tap it, tap target creature. And as a reminder, if you weren't playing when New Phyrexia was out, a Phyrexian mana can be paid either with 1 mana of that color, in this case white, or with 2 life. So
This card was so good in any deck.
this card was actually really good in this format.
If you were playing white, this card was great. Even if you weren't, it's like, okay.
Cheap tapper, it blocks small creatures.
Yeah,
it's
and
an
because
artifact.
like we said, there's quite a few X1s in this format. Like the Plagued Rusalka, and like the Waxmane Baku was only a 2/2, so it blocks all day.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah,
just it was good. It was a really good card.
Blinding Soul Eater.
Oh, excuse me.
Paul was looking up what that overrun was.
Yeah, like you can tap anything that's going to swing through this thing,
There
or
it
you can
is.
just block anything that this can block.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, in the Affinity deck was really good as well, which was also blue-white. So
That's great.
next, I have a Saproling token. So I guess this is organized with the uncommons later.
That's weird.
No,
No.
Weird.
that's another common. There's only so many cards left. There's only 4 cards left, and there's meant to be 3 uncommons,
And 1 rare.
a rare, and a
foil.
And a foil.
Weird.
That's
Weird.
unusual.
Weird.
Did someone mess with your pack?
No,
No.
this one was actually sealed,
Yeah.
and I
We know Christian.
we know
Yeah,
Christian.
we know
and
Christian.
This is not his style.
Yes,
Yeah,
his
he
style
wouldn't-
is not to give us a messed up pack. This is
Anyway, Nest Invader.
Although,
Could be. Maybe it is his style.
maybe it is.
Dun dun dun. Nest Invader is 1 and a green for a 2/2 Eldrazi drone, and when it enters the battlefield, you get a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn that says you can sack it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. And the one that you're looking at is the updated version. Actually has the colorless symbol. This does not. But yeah, Nest Invader. Everyone likes bears with upside.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
perfectly
this was fine.
I like that the drone looks really cute, honestly.
Yeah.
And the Nest Invader's like,
Petting it.
yeah, it's weird.
It's cute though.
Next is an uncommon, and it's Bloodshot Trainee, which could be very powerful or real bad. It's a 3 and a red for a Goblin Warrior. It's a 2/3. And tap, Bloodshot Trainee deals 4 damage to target creature. Woof. But you can only activate this ability if Bloodshot Trainee's power is 4 or greater. So
So if you can get equipment on this,
equipment.
if
Yes.
you can boost it somehow,
Goblin Warpaint,
yeah.
I believe, was in this format, though I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, if you could get Bloodshot Trainee's power up and turn this into a repeatable 4 damage to creatures, then it would take over.
Yeah,
But I found
that's-
what more likely would happen is you would get Bloodshot Trainee's power up, and it would you would immediately get 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you'd put an aura on it, or you'd spend a bunch of mana putting equipment on it, and that would be the end of that.
Yeah.
It would get bolted.
By the way, I believe this is the one you're.
Trump the domains. Thank you. Trump. Was that in this?
It was in Modern Masters, not
Oh,
2015.
it wasn't even in this format. Well, I'm just remembering.
So
how
I got confused because I was looking for all the domain cards in 2015. I couldn't
sorry.
find it.
I'm just remembering how good it was in the original Modern Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump the Domains was 5 and a green, 6 mana. So it's trample and +1/+1 for each.
Yeah,
type.
there's only like 2 or 3 domain cards in Modern Masters 2015. So I don't think domain was actually one of their big mechanics.
So yeah, whether Christian did this himself or if he just got goozled, I think that this pack has been tampered with because we have a Tajnar Swordsmith, which is another uncommon, which I'll just talk about briefly. 3 and a white for a 2/3 cat soldier. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay X. If you do, search your library for an equipment card with converted mana cost X or less and put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. See, just like Stoneforge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the
As
same
good as
thing.
Stoneforge.
That's clearly not a sword.
Yeah, it's an axe.
Or it's some sort of pole arm.
Like,
This
I mean,
card
I don't
was-
want to
Yeah.
criticize. The
This card
guy's
was not great.
The
Yeah.
guy's a swordsmith. Like, I don't want to say I know what a sword is more than a swordsmith, but
Maybe if
I
you,
have eyes.
Are
Maybe-
you just sword splaining this guy? Or?
maybe
Yeah.
if you opened one of the maybe if you opened one of the
Living weapons?
one of the living weapons or one of the swords.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, maybe I want Tajnar Swordsmith, but probably not, because it's like to get a sword, you're paying 7 mana for this guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I think that the thing he's holding, because it's got like a little like spear on the bottom, so it's like a double-ended thing. It's like an axe spear.
I feel like the guy, like, just off camera, off the side of shot, is somebody questioning whether that's a sword or not. And
that's why he's
that-
so
this is-
mad?
Yeah, it's like, because he's quite clearly wearing like a Leonin scimitar on his belt.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Right? But yeah, he's just sick of answering the question, so he's about to clean someone out.
And then our last card is Telling Time, which is a common. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand, 1 of them on top of your library, and 1 of them on the bottom of your
I
library.
love this card.
Yeah, this is
great.
in. I have this in both of my blue commander decks.
Yeah.
It's basically, I need to do some digging, and I like it. And it's maybe not the best card for a commander deck, but sometimes you just need to draw some cards.
Yeah.
Super cool art, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the art.
Beautiful
Telling
art.
Time.
Yeah. So I think,
So 2 uncommons, no rare, no promo card.
Weird.
Yeah.
well, because Cameron did notice that one of the flaps is a little up.
Is loose.
Yeah, loose.
Loose?
It's,
Well,
it's
then-
unglued.
Yeah, it's unglued.
So I think
And
that's
not in the funny way.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're
No rare, no foil.
Yeah. So Christian, you should get a refund.
Yeah.
Because again, the reason I don't think this is Christian is because this isn't like
It's not like funny.
it's not
Yeah,
funny. It's not
yeah.
a joke. It's just like
It's not like
oh well.
the last card is a
Yeah.
bump in a night
Oh,
or
well.
something like that.
I'm not bummed about it. Mm-hmm. Thank you anyway for the
Christian,
fact,
show your
Appreciate it.
local game store this video.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have it. We have it on record. So hey, speaking of looking for treasures,
treasure.
Ixalan is coming, and
I'm very excited.
yes, Wizards of the Coast has sort of tried to tie the idea of pirates hunting treasure into the promotion for the set, and one of the things that they've done is so they're involving geocaching. Now, when I heard that they were involving geocaching in the spoiler season for Ixalan, I was like, I was more excited than I am now that I know what the whole deal is, because I was like, that's amazing. They've gone, thanks, Paul. They've gone and hidden spoilers in geocaches, and people got to go find, like a treasure hunt, right? Mm-hmm. Granted, if they did that, they would all get found immediately, because people would just be like, oh, let's go get, So you'd have to do it like some sort of code or some sort of arg that then you would be able to decode the locations. What they're actually doing is they're sending out a bunch of like tokens or something. They're sending out some sort of item to various stores and and places, and then what you're supposed to do is take those and go and put them in a geocache, and then people can take them from that cache to a different cache, and then depending on how far they move, then spoiler cards will be revealed. And so the further they move, the more cards get shown. Let me pull up the actual explanation from the Wizards thing.
I think I get that. It seems not quite like pirates hunting treasure, though.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea being if they, like, you can't just leave a bunch of cards in geocaches, because typically they're just like, if you've ever been geocaching, it's like you're tromping around the woods and you find, like, an interesting rock, which is a geocache, right? So you can't just leave something in, like, a box under a rock or something.
Yeah, well, then you also have what happens occasionally with Banksy art. Where people are like, Banksy art on the wall. I'll move this box for $100 and you can look at it.
So they're distributing trackable game pieces to stores, fans, volunteers, and some well-known community folk that will travel the world alongside Magic fans. We have not been contacted, by the way. As the game pieces travel, the distances they travel will influence the release of preview cards and could actually influence how the story of Ixalan plays out. So if you get a game piece, they're going to activate it and log the game pieces on geocaching.com, put them in geocaching containers. The containers stay in one place for the duration of their life cycle, while the trackable game pieces can move from container to container. Once the trackable pieces have moved a certain distance, new preview cards will be unlocked. Later in the year, each of the 4 tribes of Ixalan, pirates, vampires, merfolk, and dinosaurs, will have their own set of trackable pieces, and the distance traveled by those pieces will play out during Rivals of Ixalan.
Oh.
To find a trackable piece, check with your local game store or go to geocaching.com. Or watch community members on social media to start talking up theirs.
Hey, has this actually started yet?
This article went up on the 14th, and it said that this would start happening next week. So that would be this week.
Yeah.
So I guess this has already happened.
But yeah, you can check it out.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's just not as interesting as I thought. But I'm all for unique takes on
Absolutely.
on stuff like this.
I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see them try different things.
Yeah. Always.
That's also kind of cool, because then you get to go out and, go for a walk in possibly an area I've never been before, and do some fun navigational things to get to some GPS coordinates.
In my head, it was going to be much more of a Pokemon Go sort of thing, where it's like, it's like, there's a spoiler at this location, and people are like, I gotta go get it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then somebody
then
just
you-
screenshots and puts it on Reddit.
Well, also the problem being is like,
You have a bunch of people trampling through,
Well, there's that, but there's also like, there's 40 copies of the card, or 40 foil basic lands, right?
Right.
So whoever gets there first is like, oh, cool, 40 basics.
Yeah.
It's not going to get like spread
evenly
out.
distributed.
Yeah.
Because the idea with this is they're actually using the already existing geocaching.com infrastructure for it, right?
Yeah.
So presumably these cards have like whatever, just QR codes on them or something.
Trackable. No, they're trackable somehow. So I assume that they're actually like GPS enabled.
Oh, okay.
Like, because the article mentions like that people will activate them and then send them on their way. So presumably somewhere at Wizards is watching these pieces move around.
They have a war room set up.
Luckily, Magic players are
That sounds so
well known
cool in my head, but-
for equitably distributing
Yeah.
cool things.
Exactly. So, speaking of Ixalan, there have been a couple cards. So there was a whole. I think we mentioned it in passing, or maybe we didn't. But there was a whole rare and mythic sheet that got very poorly photographed some time ago. That gave a whole bunch of stuff away, which sucks. And only partially because of the visual fidelity of the photo. We're not really going to get into that. But more recently, some of the Buy a Box promos were shown off. And,
the Buy Box, Game Day, Standard Showdown.
I think so.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at those and see what we can glean from Ixalan from that. Because I actually haven't looked at the full sheet thing.
It's illegible.
Yeah. I mentioned unclaimed territory at the top of the show, so let's talk about unclaimed territory. It's a land. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, which is always fun. This is an uncommon land. You can tap to add a colorless to your mana pool. And you can also tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend it only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type.
So, I'm very excited. This is good support for tribal, and
Yep.
it's clearly going to be a tribal block, considering they're already talking about how you're pitting the 4 tribes against each other.
Yeah,
When was the
so-
last time we had a real tribal block?
Lorwyn?
Yeah, that's what I want to say too. Because I've never really, like, that was before I started playing, but I've never played anything where it's like the tribes really mattered.
Yeah.
So that's fun because I enjoy playing Lorwyn, and I like the Lorwyn cards and stuff. So,
I guess you could probably make the argument that Modern Masters 2015 had a tribal thing with the elementals
yeah, that's
and
true.
spirits. But yeah, this is really interesting because I mean this only affects creatures naturally, so you're not going to be able to support a spell-based strategy with this card, right? Or like say, I think dinosaurs seem to be like a Naya thing, maybe, or a Jund thing, but. If they're 3-color, that's great, but you won't be able to support all the other like non-creature spells with this.
Yeah.
So maybe a tribal deck will just look like 21 creatures and 2 combat tricks.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if they are doing like a sort of a tribal theme, it's going to be very creature heavy, and maybe you'll have
Well-
creatures that do things in addition to.
Yeah. A lot of like activated abilities on creatures.
Yeah,
Although
or-
this doesn't tap to activate.
No,
Yeah.
it's casting, but like maybe it's more like creatures that come into the battlefield, like because when we talk about Lorwyn and the fairies, like the fairies did things when they entered the battlefield.
Yeah.
So it might be more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean this is really interesting. If this is what the fixing looks like in this set, then I mean it implies a lot.
Speaking of which, there is this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burning Sun's Avatar.
Oh yeah.
A dinosaur avatar. So it's 3 red for a 6/6. 6 mana 6/6. Always fun. At rare. When Burning Sun's Avatar enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target opponent and 3 damage to up to 1 target creature. The up to is relevant because if your opponent doesn't have any targets, you are not obliged to target itself, for example. So
Neatly sidestepping the flame tongue Kabu problem.
Yeah.
Do you think we're looking at this through kind of a fisheye lens, or does this thing actually have a giant head and teeny weeny body?
I think it's a forced perspective thing where the head is just a lot closer because he's
Yeah.
very angry.
And he's about to bite you.
And I love that these are feathered dinosaurs. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
probably my favorite thing about the Ixalan dinosaurs is they have feathers.
Yeah, I'm very
That-
excited by that.
That's
Yeah.
more scientifically accurate.
I know.
But yeah, so there, like I just said, maybe will be less spells and more creatures that do things. Aren't I good at magic? Woo! But yeah, I hadn't seen this card before.
I mean, I think Unclaimed Territory is going to get into a lot of commander decks also. 'Cause,
Yeah.
a lot of tribal synergies in commander. And it's no Cavern of Souls.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't counter, but it does the other half of Cavern of Souls.
It does
Or it
the
doesn't prevent counter. Sorry.
it does the half of Cavern of Souls that's important at uncommon
yes.
Exactly.
or in limited,
Yeah.
right?
The Burning Sun Avatar, man, how busted were the Titans, huh?
Very
They were
busted.
just really good. They were
well, they
hard
weren't
to
like.
they were hard to deal with at Mythic,
Yes.
right? Like if you saw a Titan in was it Magic 2011?
I think so.
You just took it.
Yeah, well it would.
But if it came down across from you, you're like,
You're like,
well.
Oh.
yeah, like Grave Titan comes down and you are in deep trouble.
So I'm thinking as a direct comparison between Burning Sun Avatar and Inferno Titan. And again, this is rare and Inferno Titan was mythic, but they're both 6/6 for 6. Inferno Titan's easier to cast.
Yeah,
'cause it's
I was actually-
four red.
That was my thought. I was like, wow, it's an Inferno Titan, but not.
Yeah. And Inferno Titan deals. First of all, it has fire breathing just for fun.
Yeah.
But it only deals 3 damage. But you can divide the damage up however you want, and it does that again
When it attacks.
every time it attacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just. I think Burning Sun Avatar is sweet. By the way, I like the that it has the sort of the. I was always a big fan of Searing Blaze in Zendikar. That it was like 3 to that creature, 3 to you. Right? It's like woof goes right up. Like you burn the creature so hard it even hurts the controller. I quite like that, but it's just sort of like entertaining to look at how.
How they've corrected.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I look at Burning Sun Avatar and I'm like, this is a really good card, right?
I mean, yeah, it's not as
But
good as Inferno Titan, but it's not mythic.
It just throws into sharp contrast like how powerful the Titans actually were.
Absolutely.
Which was very powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
And the weird thing about Burning Sun Avatar is like it's not necessarily a bomb. Like it's
Yeah,
a 6-mana 6/6, which is
It's a 2-for-1.
very good. And
Probably
then
a 2-for-1.
You get to
Yeah.
lava spike your opponent.
If
and
your
then
opponent doesn't have any creatures when
probably
you're
get to kill a
casting
creature.
this, then you're going to win the game no matter what.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because yes, it's a 6-mana 6/6 bait. It's 3 red. So
guess-
unless you're very heavy red, there's no chance of you casting this once you have 6 mana.
I guess, so
Right.
again, of course, we're talking about from a limited perspective because you don't have like bombs in constructed. It's not really how that terminology
actually,
works.
especially if the dinosaurs are Naya,
Yeah.
then that makes the casting cost on this even more sort of arduous,
Oh,
right?
that's true, because triple
Yeah.
red if you're...
Triple
yeah.
red is hard to hit unless you're primarily red. And even then, you
Yeah.
could just...
But I guess what I'm saying by like not a bomb, maybe it is. I guess it depends on your definition. I don't think it's an exciting first pick, is I guess what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
like
no, I can
it's
see
like
that.
Chaos Maw from Hour of Devastation, which was a 6/6 for 7? Question mark? That like damages every creature in play.
Right, yeah.
Deals 3 or 4, 3 damage. Yeah, 6/6
Yeah.
for 7. Yeah, deals 3 damage to every other creature in play. And it's like, yeah, that'll really turn a game around. But I'm never like, sweet, windmill slam this Chaos Maw.
Yeah,
'Cause you're like-
exactly. Like,
This also wipes
Yeah.
my board.
Burning
right?
Sun's avatar isn't Scorpion God,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Few things are.
Yeah.
Really,
mercifully.
one thing is...
Hey, what if you're on the other side of the table and they resolve a Burning Sun's Avatar? Well, I mean, you probably lose a creature and take 3 damage, but I know a way you can deal with it. You need a very large plank, but you can make
it
them
walk the plank.
Walk the plank.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
that
this
little
card
blue
either.
goblin on
I'm
Walk the Plank is
so-
very compelling.
So happy that this card exists. It's one of those ones where it's just like, oh, we've never had a Magic card called Walk the Plank before, or a card that's this like tropey
I don't think
pirate
that's a
thing.
goblin. I think it's a merfolk, Graham, because it just says destroy target non-merfolk creature.
It
Yeah.
looks
It
goblin-y.
looks goblin-y to me.
I think
It looks like a Tarkir goblin.
yeah, I think that Ixalan goblins are blue. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Just because it's destroy non-merfolk, so you'd think
Yeah.
it'd be a merfolk shoving
I
the
like
guy
Paul.
off the end.
Paul pointed this out earlier when we were talking about this card.
Real quick, just
Oh.
for those who aren't watching, it's a sorcery. Walk the Plank is a sorcery for black that says destroy target non-merfolk creature. And you were saying
That's great flavor.
Yeah.
Right? But
So they
you have
can
to
swim.
imagine there's like a Leviathan and a Kraken and a Cephalid out there being like, come on.
this guy with a spear is like
Like-
walk the plank to like a Stormtide Leviathan. Who's just
and
like,
who's like,
I don't
get-
understand what's happening.
Yeah, get in the briar patch.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that's where I live. You can't throw me in the water and kill me. This isn't fair.
How big of a plank would you need?
Well, not only how big of the plank, but like the goblin in the back who's like, come on. Right? To a Stormtide Leviathan, and it's like, no, stop with the poking. Right?
I mean, the Stormtide Leviathan probably would like to get back in the water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited because this is a black spell and merfolk are traditionally blue. Sort of means that sort of merfolk are probably going to be in a blue-black strategy, which is kind of fun. Goes with some other like Sig River Cutthroat is a merfolk, isn't he?
Yeah.
So there's shades of lore one again actually.
Yeah.
Blue-black being sort of the domain of merfolk.
It's I mean, so we joke about the flavor, but I also appreciate times when when Magic doesn't worry about that, when it is just like destroy target non-merfolk, because it's clean, right?
Yep.
They could, if they wanted, just fill that text box and be like destroy target creature unless it is a merfolk, Leviathan. Like what else is there? Kraken,
Cephalid, Homerid, Camerid.
whale, yeah.
Mega fish.
Fish.
Whale and fish
Yeah.
and hippocamp, I think, are all
Well, and if you're getting down to it, zombies don't need to breathe.
exactly right. That's the problem. Is you
Yeah.
just like get down this like spiral.
You're going to
It's
certainly
like,
it's like-
inconvenience a zombie, but eventually they'll walk out
Yeah,
onto
it's
the
like
shore.
birds can
also,
fly.
Thassa shouldn't drown if you throw her off
I
the
mean,
thing.
Yeah.
Kiora for that matter.
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get this to load?
For somehow able to remove Thas as indestructible.
Yeah.
But
There we go.
pirate ship.
Pirate ship.
You can make a pirate ship walk the
You
plank.
can make a ship walk the plank.
Try to work that one out.
Yeah, the ship's like, I don't understand what's happening to me.
The plank remains stationary in space-time, and the ship just moves underneath it and then drowns.
Yeah, that's like a Terry Gilliam animation, right?
Or like a Looney Tunes thing where it's
Yeah.
like you're making Bugs Bunny walk the plank,
And you just start like sawing the plank.
and somehow the ship drowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he saws the plank off, and then the ship
Sinks to the bottom of the sea, and
bottom.
he's standing there on a floating plank.
Yeah.
I'm imagining some sort of like source mod confusion, where it's like you've like programmed it weirdly, so someone like stands there, the ship just moves laterally under the plank until it gets to the end, and then I don't know, probably falls up, just
Yeah.
goes like whoop into the sky.
In my imagination, it does like a full Gidan, and then just like.
Yeah. And ting, just a
Or the
little
water elemental, of course.
water elemental.
Well, there's
Right.
many-
Make a. Isn't there like? There's other ones. There's like a storm elemental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk the plank. No.
So, I mean, like from a flavor perspective, it could have been like Merfolk Bomb or something like
Yeah.
would have worked with the destroy creature, except if it's a Merfolk. But it's just the idea. It's like, haha, we thought about that because Merfolk don't care if they walk the plank.
Yeah. Presumably, they get around that by just like none of those other things are actually on.
Yeah, in the
Ixalan.
set. Yeah.
There's no Leviathans or anything.
No Leviathans confirmed. No
Yeah.
print. No Empress Lawan reprint in Ixalan. You heard it here first.
Although, even if we do that, that theoretically means that you could still make a dinosaur walk the plank, which I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll see it pretty often once we get into the draft.
No
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Challenge accepted, Graham. I'll
No
happily
kidding.
take you up on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is a lot like Victim of Night.
Yeah.
This was good.
Same kind of role. Yeah. Same. Yeah. If you're in the right, if you were in the color, you took Victim of Night.
Wasn't that also? It was black, but it was,
It was an
non
instant, I think.
No,
And it was non-vampire,
Non-vampire,
zombie, werewolf.
right.
For that matter, of course.
Got there, Cameron.
Like say a Stormcrow probably
Yeah.
wouldn't care too much about walking the plank either when it comes right down to it.
Yeah.
He's like,
I feel like we're just writing an extended
okay.
Friday night sort of diatribe here. All right, what's our next spoiler that you want to discuss, Graham?
I think that was. All that we had that we knew about. Like there's a lot of other. Oh wait, no, there was one more promo card that recently, which was the Bishop of Rebirth. This is one of the ones from that last bunch.
Oh, vampires
Yeah.
in white again.
Yeah, mono white vampire.
So that's
right?
exciting. Yeah, mono white vampire.
Also, note that it's light out, so
Yep.
these are terrifying vampires that can go out in the sun.
Yeah. So it's a 3 white for a 3/4 vampire cleric, mono white vampire, with vigilance. 3/4 vigilance for 5. Sure. Whenever Bishop of Rebirth attacks, you may return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Speaking of,
Wait,
And it's got
what?
vigilance.
Whenever it attacks?
yeah, speaking of Titan abilities.
Wow.
Yeah, speaking of
this is a-
mini
this is-
titans.
this is a little sun titan.
Yeah, it doesn't hit your fetch lands, or
Yeah, it only hits creatures, but oh well.
yeah. Oh well.
Wow, actually.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
That's very powerful.
My favorite comment: "Stay out of the sun, Titan."
Ooh,
I,
Gotta write that down.
yeah,
the
saving that one.
Speaking of which, as a brief aside, Hour of Devastation nickname episode will be forthcoming. It's been hard to find the time to write the nicknames with the moon-based move, and we apologize.
Hey.
But it will be here. What's up?
Here's a thought. We've seen 2 of this sort of like big monocolor finisher at Rare
Yeah.
that seem to be they seem to be like Titan light essentially. Do you think that's going to be a cycle that you'll have like these big monocolor finishers and they'll have like some sort of there'll be one in black that like
Make zombies.
makes zombies, or well no, because zombies aren't a tribe.
Maybe it'll make pirates.
Yeah. You
You're full
know,
of
maybe
pirates.
maybe
Yeah,
I'm
full
getting
of pirates.
and then like
I
the
don't know.
blue one will like the merfolk one will tap one down or something like
Yeah.
that. And the green dinosaur one will make things in biggin.
Or
I hadn't thought of it.
tutor up. Maybe the green one will tutor up basic lands. They'll just reprint
Basic
prime
lands.
time with a extra word on it.
The word that makes it okay.
Yeah, the word that makes it
Yeah.
reasonable at all.
So we've seen as recently as Battle for Zendikar vampires in black-white. Right. We've seen like dual-colored vampires, like vampires like Drana's Emissary, for example.
Yeah.
When's the last time we saw an actual mono-white vampire, or have we ever?
I am not.
I can't think of
None
one.
spring to mind. I'm
I
sure
know-
there may have been.
When we went to Innistrad, we got red vampires, which people were extremely excited about.
And
Right.
they're from Zendikar too. They're red vampires.
Yeah.
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 But like Innistrad was the first time we saw red vampires, like original Innistrad, right?
Was it?
I think so.
Zendikar was before Innistrad.
Oh yeah. Did they have red vampires in the original Zendikar?
So, I don't
know.
I don't think they did.
I actually don't
I
know
don't
if
think
they
they did.
There were green vampires in Zendikar.
No.
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 No?
No.
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 I thought they were like the
the
crazy
tribes
wild-
in Zendikar were in the original Zendikar block were very like
Very very
monocolored.
monocolored.
I thought there was like the wild vampires in Zendikar.
Those were the black vampires.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Guldras.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were different types of vampires.
They were all the different houses.
Yeah, but
Or
they're
no, not
all
houses.
black.
What were they?
Lineages.
I mean, they were lineages,
Yeah,
but they weren't.
Yeah.
They had a special name on.
I forget.
Zendikar.
Yep, there have been no mono white vampires.
Wow.
So this is our first
There's the
one.
rebirth mono.
There's been
All right.
quite a few
Cool.
black white ones, but and a couple of black white red ones, but no pure pure white.
I mean, this
Pretty
is
cool.
this is interesting because of course we've got the tribal commander decks that are coming out, and it's black white vampires.
Black, white, red is Mardu vampires.
Yeah.
Because with Edgar Markov. Edgar?
Yeah.
Yep. Edgar Markov.
Yeah. Who's just nuts. I know we talked about him last episode, but good lord.
I'm not looking forward to that guy resolving multiple times.
He doesn't even need to, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have eminence or whatever it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah, he
can just
does.
do stuff. He can just sit back in the command zone and be like, yes,
Yep.
get bigger, my vampires.
Yeah, he's so powerful he doesn't
cards.
actually need to be around.
Yep.
You just drop a train on him. And
Drop a train on him, Edgar. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah,
this seems good.
I'm super excited for Ixalan.
Me too. I was very like when I heard pirates and dinosaurs. I was like,
Yes. I was more on board.
yeah.
Well,
I was less so because I'm far too cool to get excited about pirates and dinosaurs. You see.
Well,
And I was like, pirates and dinosaurs in my children's card game? That seems immature. And and now, okay, fine, I'm sold.
It was the
sold.
teaser image that got me because it was like I didn't hear about it until I saw the teaser image, right? Like just the key art of like Vraska and the pirates and then the dinosaur dudes on land. And I
I'm
was
just
like,
excited to see Vraska again. She was cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, this looks like a cartoon show that I would have watched as a child.
Pirates of Darkwater.
Was that a thing? It
I
sounds familiar.
want to say it was.
I wasn't even thinking of a specific one. I just mean in general terms.
I remember a show. I might have been Pirates of Darkwater, Buccaneers of Darkwater. It was a Saturday morning cartoon. The bad guy's ship was called the Maelstrom.
Ooh, what a good name
Yeah.
for a ship.
Oh yeah, I know. It was a great word. It was
I was
a great
thinking
name.
of like Dino Riders, which
yeah,
was a lot
that
more
too.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
I up
the
had
image is
laser
up there
guns.
on screen now. That key art image is
Oh,
up
great,
on screen.
cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This
Yeah.
looks so cool. Yeah, and again, also from this image, people were like, feather dinosaurs. So, that's pretty
Accurate dinosaurs. I'm just excited that because you know sometimes the planeswalkers that we meet in the blocks are like, oh, this is the special planeswalker for this block. This is the planeswalker from this plane that we will never see again.
Yeah.
Arlen Cord by Samet by Vraska, who was like a really cool, scary assassin. And almost killed Jace, as I recall from the story. Like, it was kind of like, and then it was just like, well, now I'm gone by.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. But I also, what was also kind of exciting is that there was, what was the name, what was the placeholder name for Ixalan that they used in that survey where they were,
Atlazan.
right, we're sending out packaging. So it
Yeah.
was Atlazan. And so people were like, oh, it's Atlantis. and because there was Merfolk, and it was called and it was called Ixalan. So people were like, okay, so they're doing Atlantis, and then it was called. And then they were like, that was just a placeholder thing. It's actually called Ixalan, and people were like, oh, so it's Mesoamerica. Okay, and people were like, we're just in Egypt. Now we're doing Mesoamerica. And then the teaser image came out, and it's like, no, this is just fantasy.
Yeah.
This is just pirates and dinosaurs and everything's going, like.
Great.
Obviously, some of the visuals are inspired by Mesoamerica, obviously, but it's not. They're like, no, we're going totally nuts with this. And I think everybody was like, oh, okay, sweet, I'm on board.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not like the humans are going to be not Aztecs.
Yeah.
What do you think about the like dinosaurs as a subtype? Because I seen that not like controversial,
as a
but
subject of some debate, they should be lizards.
well, it's just that effectively dinosaurs have been in Magic for a while.
Yeah.
But they've always been either called beasts or lizards,
Right,
as a subtype.
right.
The fact adding dinosaurs as a subtype, and I'm assuming they're not going to go back and oracle the other things back to dinosaurs, seems a little odd.
They could.
Yeah, like what was
could oracle them.
what was the Megamorph one?
Oh. I don't remember.
The Megamorph Mythic.
Yeah.
It was in green. It was a Velociraptor, or a Deinonychus.
Right, with Death Touch,
Yeah.
and it was like really walking weirdly towards the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't really like how the art was framed, but it's okay because it got flattened on the card.
Flatten.
Yeah, I can't remember what that card was called. It was relevant in standard briefly. Anyway,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
it. There we go.
Deathmas Raptor.
Wow, good job, Paul.
Yeah.
Lizard Beast.
Lizard Beast.
Yeah, a lizard and a beast. Clearly a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They could go back and retcon them. I mean, there's what's the one that's 5/5 for 4, but you can only use basics to cast it. It was in the first Modern Masters, and it's called like something Soar.
Right. There's also one from Zendikar. The original Zendikar, it looked like a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it was kind of, I want to say, was it Carnosaur?
I think Carnosaur the one I'm thinking of. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Yeah,
the point is,
they've been around
Yeah.
before.
I
right?
mean, there's. I just looked for
SAR.
the soar, and there are a lot of things with the soar.
suffix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this is an actual pygmy Allosaurus.
Oh.
Right. Summon dinosaur.
Oh.
Oh.
And what's the oracle now? Lizard.
Now it's lizard. So it started dinosaur. Now and then it got oracled back to lizard.
I predict.
Maybe it'll go back to dinosaur.
Yeah, I feel like this might be another instance of them doing some oracle changes because with every new set that comes out, there's
There's the Imperasaur.
Imperiosaur is the one I was thinking of. Thank you. Do they? I can't remember if they do it with every set or if they do it every year, but there is some times in the year where they're like, "Hey, these are some changes we've made to oracle wording on Gatherer to sort of bring up to speed with stuff." And so it's entirely possible they could go through and
And read Dinosaur.
yeah,
Allosaurus rider too.
Elf Warrior.
well, because it's the rider.
I like
still love the story.
there's an Allosaurus rider and there's a pygmy Allosaurus,
Yeah.
but there's no actual
They don't
Allosaurus.
band with each other, though.
And there's no actual Allosaurus. So is the rider riding a pygmy one?
Must be.
I don't know, maybe. Anyway,
They're from different sets. Too. Anyway,
I'm totally cool with them adding dinosaur as a subtype. I think that's relevant enough difference that because like the problem is if you like I don't know, there are lizards. There's tons of lizards in Magic that are just normal lizards or even larger lizards. And I think that having having the
lizard-
dinosaur distinction. Exactly. When I think lizard, I think like
more
Thresher lizard.
or like a frilled sandwalla or something like that, to
Yeah.
use a
Yeah.
more recent example.
Yeah, I think adding dinosaur as a distinction rather than lizard beast, I think that's fine.
Yeah, like when they-
I welcome our new dinosaur overlords. Hopefully
depending on
they-
how Ixalan goes, possibly literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how far you take your geocaches.
Yeah, I'm certainly not betting on the guy with a sword versus a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, the question is, like in the key art, it's dinosaurs, and there's a guy like riding the dinosaur, right? So the question is it dinosaurs
Or is it Dino Riders?
Or is it Dino Riders? Or is
Right.
it dinosaurs being like, yeah, occasionally we let people ride us.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Yeah, are the dinosaurs intelligent?
Or are they vehicles? Tap a creature to crew this dinosaur. Anyway, that's going to do it, I think, for this week.
I want a dino train.
I want a dino train. Wait, put a rider on a dinosaur and then put a dinosaur in a train.
Yeah.
Well, there's the train that kind of looks like a Triceratops anyway, right?
Oh, yeah, there is, too.
It's like that fan art that came out when vehicles were spoiled for Kaladesh.
Right.
It was like standard for the next year. And it was Chandra and Emrakul driving Mario Karts.
I would play a Magic the Gathering kart racer.
Yeah. But it's just like, you would have an airship piloted by a train, piloted by a drag racer, piloted by a motorbike, piloted by Emrakul.
Get in.
Because you can.
Get in, losers.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us for Tap Tap Concede in our new, nearly completed podcast studio, Studio B. And as a reminder, we're brought to you by cardkingdom.com/LRR or our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Please check out both of those things. And yeah, that is going to do it. And for Kathleen and Cameron and myself, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everybody.